All right, so today's Friday, and I'm going to wish you a happy anniversary. Do you know what 1 year ago today was?
I'm going to go ahead and guess it was the game I came in last year.
Got it. Happy anniversary, man.
Thank you.
What was that like for you? Because that's the moment that everybody around watches like, man, the Browns have hope.
That day was a good one. I just remember having some family in town, and I had a weird feeling that whole day that I was ready to play, and having the primetime game and the energy in the stadium and actually getting in there, it was a good one.
I know you hoped that Cleveland would come alive, right?
Absolutely.
But then like the next day and then the next few weeks and then in December and you're still in the playoffs, could you believe the response you got from the people here?
You could kind of feel what they had been starving for a long time. And so when we were actually in the playoff hunt, late in the season, it was exciting. You could feel that energy and that passion that people had.
Do you understand now why they're so passionate and so desperate?
I do. We look around this place and see the names on the walls and the championship banners, and you find out what they're used to. It's been a bad few years, but if you don't know the history here, you don't understand that there's a rich tradition here that people are proud of.
That's the other one, too. 1964, people who are 55 years old, they're getting closer to retirement.
Exactly.
They haven't seen it. So do you get folks who come up to you and say, I'd just like to see it once in my lifetime?
Absolutely. You see that stuff. You get letters of, I just want it to be like the good old days, and then you hear about the heartbreak kids and stuff like that, so it's pretty fun.
This was kind of a cool summer for you. Kentucky Derby riders up.
Yep.
Get married out in Southern California a month later. What's it like doing all these things in a different spotlight now as a quarterback everybody knows?
It's definitely a little bit different, the whole media and press that comes with it. It's a whole different monster, but I'm still just loving and enjoying life.
What was the reaction that people gave you at the Derby when you were around Churchill Downs?
No, I think great. The reception there. I feel like Cleveland fans travel well to anything, or somebody's from Cleveland wherever you go. It was great, and then family was excited to see me on TV, but my friends gave me a hard time for kind of butchering the Riders Up in the beginning.
Maybe we can get you invited back, maybe.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Tom Brady is pretty cool because he's 42. He's the best, maybe the best ever. And he still has a chip on his shoulder from being drafted 199th.
Yep.
Do you carry a chip like that still that motivates you?
I do. I think that's important, mentality-wise. If you consider yourself a winner and a competitor, you have something that always drives you. And, he can say that it's being the 199th pick, but he's always had it within him. That's, what's gotten him there. And to me, if you don't have something driving you inside, that fire that's, no matter what, sometimes your body doesn't want to get up and go do certain things or go to work, but, that will to go do it and compete is something special that he definitely has.
So what's your chip?
I truly do love the game, but I love winning more than that. Ultimately, I hate losing more than I love winning. I just, the fear of failing to me drives me to to be the very best, and I know that's a very different way of looking at it, but I'm wanting to win just to prove to myself that I'm more than capable of playing here.
Walk on, two different places. First walk on to ever win a Heisman. Guy who was too short, guy who was spoiled, guy who was too slow. You've heard all the stuff that was said about you over the years. How much has that become the fuel that still drives you every day?
I think at the time when all that's going on, it definitely was the main source of fuel and what was driving me. I think, as you have success, sometimes you can lose sight of what's gotten you there. And so, having to revert back to that a little bit of, people still doubted me. I'm not going to, let people hop on the bandwagon now just because we had some success last year. We got to hit the reset button, and I have to be driven again.
You're honest sometimes to a fault, and sometimes people will bristle, but then we're also a society that we want more answers from guys. Yeah. Have you, at any point during the NFL experience, said maybe I can't be as honest as I got used to being at Oklahoma?
No, and I think that's what catches people off guard. I'm not going to apologize for being me. I truly do pride myself on being completely transparent and honest about how I feel, how I view certain things, and to me, that's still a part of the transition of changing the culture here. It's important for me to set a standard and let people know how it should be done, and I'm not alone in this thing, and so being a vocal guy, I think it's okay to say certain things. Definitely there's a time where you you tame it a little bit, but being completely honest to me is very important.
There's almost like a quarterback handbook. Here's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
Don't give anybody anything bad to put up on their bulletin board. You don't subscribe to that handbook.
Oh, I definitely don't. I don't fit in the guidelines, but I think there's a fine line of, talking about stuff outside of your own building and then talking about what's inside yours, protecting, your teammates and talking about what you need to accomplish to get better. It's different, and not a lot of people like that, and so I think that's where the reaction comes from on the outside, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about it.
We've seen a lot of people come in from college ball to the pros, and the pros usually humbles guys a little bit because of the quality of the players and the difficulty of the game. What's humbled you so far?
The whole transition is humbling. I think you can get by in college of not really knowing the game, and based off of talent, based off of having talent around me at Oklahoma, of just playing ball. And that's something that I was blessed with, of having the natural ability to scramble around, extend plays, stuff like that. But now it's get the ball out of your hands, eliminate quick, have your eyes in the right spot. And I think I got better at that as my years at Oklahoma went on. But it's still, there's a huge difference and a fine line, and having to know the game.
How important has Freddie Kitchens been in helping you jump from what it took in college to what it takes now?
Very vital in the transition for me. I think going back to the early days last year of Kenny Zampese, the quarterback coach, of taking me through the basic read of how we had the install for the offense, and then once Freddie took over as the offensive coordinator, Kenny was still in our room, but then adding Freddie's thoughts onto certain things, and so having a fresh perspective on all things is great to me. But Freddie's been a huge difference in my success. I mean, you saw it last year at the second half of the year.
How much did you push for that guy would be a pretty good head coach for us?
People around the building know my opinion. Like we said, people a lot of the times know how I feel, and they know how I felt about Freddie. So obviously he was my choice, but that's not my decision, so I wasn't going to take too much time to stress about it.
I want to read you one of the coolest quotes I've heard in a while. This was the second question at the NFL press conference at the Combine. And you said, they got a winner. If anybody can turn that franchise around, put it in the right direction, it's me. Why did you say that about Cleveland at that point in your career?
I think the draft process to me is everybody's finding out what's wrong with them. Why shouldn't you take them at this point? What can't they do? You're finding the faults in it, and that's great. But what great coaches do, what great teams do, is expand on what players are good at. You play to their strengths. You don't play to their weaknesses. And so for me, I've always been the guy that's a leader, making the guys around me play better. A mentality that I try and bring is you never quit. And so, the city of Cleveland deserves a great football team. It's a football town. And so you find out that some of the other quarterbacks through the draft are saying, I want to go to the right team. And I'm like, I don't care. I want to play in the NFL, and I don't really care the surroundings. I want to be somewhere that wants me as well. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to do anything I can to win, and Cleveland deserved that.
So what is it about you that you thought, I can be the guy to stop this?
I've always had belief in myself, just never having a doubt in my mind of, elevating the guys around me, doing my job first and foremost, but, just bringing the mentality to Cleveland, and then knowing that they didn't really need it. The people of Cleveland have a work ethic mentality of they're going to outwork people, and that's why they're so proud of their team. They're there through the thick and the thin, and that's why I truly enjoy playing here.
Did you imagine how many people you won over when you said that about the Cleveland Browns?
No, I truly didn't, because I was saying it because I truly believed it. But looking back on it, I understand why.
What is unique about Cleveland?
I think what people, have poked fun about, the Cleveland fans over the past, the recent years of not successful football, they don't see what it used to be, what the fans are used to. The parents are telling stories to the kids of what it used to be with Kozar, Sipe, and then you go farther back with Jim Brown and the teams in those days. that's what Cleveland's about. That's what they're used to, and they don't forget that. And so, to me, that's what's so unique is no matter what's going on, they have expectations, no matter what everybody else is saying on the outside.
Did you think 15 starts in, you'd have a steak named after you at a little high fancy steak place in town?
At Hyde Park? It's a good steak.
Is it good?
It's good. It's good.
What's unique about it? Anything?
The sauce on top.
Okay.
It's got a little black pepper sauce on top. It's good.
Is that you? A little pepper, a little spice?
A little pepper, a little spice. It gives a little kick. Not just bland. A nice flavor to it.
Have you ordered it often?
I have.
That's all right.
It's good.
All right.
I don't get it every time, but
That's all right.
It's good steak.
Baker approved.
It is.
That's good to know. Do you know what the year 2002 means to the people around here?
I do not.
Last playoffs?
Last playoffs, okay.
What would it mean for this group to be able to put your year, your names, on a playoff appearance by the Browns?
It's a tricky one because, to me, that's what the guys in this locker room expect. And I don't think we can wrap our minds around what it would mean for this town until it actually happens. But that's, I think the benefit of being a little, naive about it is taking it 1 week at a time, knowing where we want to go, where our expectations are, and what we have to do to get there. But then, don't look up until it's there. Don't look up till you're done, and to see what you've created and the culture that we would have at that point, and the energy that the fans would have.
You mentioned the locker room. Explain to us what some of these guys are like, because Odell, I'm seeing a big watch. I'm seeing the one-handed catches. I'm seeing all the flamboyance. What's Odell like to work with as a receiver for a quarterback on a day-to-day basis?
I think it's awesome what we get to see within the building. Inside these walls, he's nothing but work. He wants to win, and he truly wants his teammates to have success. And that's the best part about having him here, and also Jarvis, is they're going to feed off each other. They're going to play really hard for each other, but he's very unique in the sense that he's a football mind. People might think he's just a natural talent, but he understands, the job we're trying to accomplish within route patterns and schemes, and so he adds a different, dynamic to our team that we really needed.
He had two mega plays on Monday night, the one-handed grab, the 89-yard touchdown. But I understand that there was a pick, and he came and apologized to you about the interception.
Yeah, he did. It truly bothered him that somebody caught a pick off of a pass that was thrown to him. And that just shows you that he wants his teammates to have success, but he ultimately wants to win. And he knew that hurt us at the time. It didn't hurt us in the grand scheme of things, but it bothered him that I had an interception on my stat sheet. I don't care. We won, but it shows a lot about him and who he is as a person.
How important is that to be connected with the other guys who are the spotlight guys on this team?
To me, sometimes it's more important than the actual play on the field. They're going to play harder for a guy that they want to play with. They want to elevate their game and play harder for me, and I think that's very important.
There aren't many captains in the NFL who haven't played a full season as a starter. What did it mean to you to be named a captain of this team?
It meant a lot. It's an honor to have the C on your chest, sewed into the jersey, but ultimately that wasn't going to define me as a person. I was going to view myself as a leader to this team no matter what, but it's definitely an honor to be voted by your teammates.
Is it true that as a kid you actually didn't like getting up and speaking in front of big groups?
I hated it, actually. I was a shy guy growing up, very quiet.
Rule follower?
A big rule follower.
What happened?
You know what? I like to blame one friend I had in 5th grade.
Who is it? Call him out.
Nicky Petrocelli.
Okay.
He's coaching soccer at Miami now. But no, I think it's fun to blame him. He's not the ultimate guy to blame. But
does Nicky know he's getting hung out to dry on national TV right now?
I've said it multiple times, but national TV is definitely a different ballgame.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Good luck, Nicky. Have a good season.
No, I think over time, not being the biggest guy, not being the strongest, but still having belief in myself, I think I bottled a lot of that stuff up inside and didn't voice my opinion. I just said, you know what, if nobody else believes in me, I'm just going to work for it and just go prove people wrong, and then in the end be able to say, I told you so, but be more proud of myself than that.
So what is it about you that the stage got bigger, and you're not sure if you're going to be great here? You don't know if you're going to be the level of a Heisman Trophy winner in the pros, but something had to keep you believing I'm still going to be the same guy that you saw at Oklahoma. What was that?
The old saying of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Within my mentality of what had gotten me there and what had driven me, helped me have success. Obviously you have to make changes to your game. You have to get better. But that's, the mentality-wise of, I want to compete and be the very best. And that's the challenge that the NFL brings. It's a hard game. It's definitely a challenge each and every day. And once you come to work, practices are hard. You have to, recognize and adapt to what they're showing you. And I think once teams get a feel for how you play, they take away your strengths. And so you have to, find out what your weakness is and get better at that.
This week it's Aaron Donald. I mean, every week there's a stud on defense somewhere in the NFL. What is the level of getting used to the challenge every week that this league provides that is relentless and almost feels like it never comes to an end?
Yeah, you got to bring your A game every single week. Obviously, this week's a little bit different ball game. I mean, you look across and you see the best player in the game right now, and he'll go down as one of the best to ever play defensive line. And then, he is who he is. He obviously changes the game, but then that allows the guys around them who, to me, if I was one of them, I'd be pretty pissed off that I don't get the same recognition. They play harder. They get one-on-one matchups because of him. So it allows their defense to play free. And so that's the challenge that he brings, and that's why he's a difference maker.
A lot of primetime games this year. First Sunday night game for you. You play big games at Oklahoma. What's the big lights of the NFL like for you?
It's just different in the production sense of things, like the stuff like this.
Wasting time with me.
Not wasting time.
I got you. It's okay. I'm
fine. Just realizing it's everybody's watching, and that everything that that you don't realize as a kid that goes into it for the night game. It's not just any game. The energy, the passion that comes with the fans down in the Muni lot. They're waiting there all day, ready for the lights to come on, the sun to go down, and their team running out of tunnel. And I think it's just everything that encompasses a night football game, and Sunday night, especially when everybody's watching.
A couple of quarterbacks I want to throw out. Just tell me your connection with them, whether watching them or getting to know them a little bit. Favre, you get compared to Brett a lot style-wise.
Yeah, no, I definitely, he was one of the guys I loved watching growing up, favorite player, and just his love and passion for the game. That in itself, and his winning mentality and toughness.
Tom Brady.
Very elite, go down as the greatest to ever play the game. I think, I talk about the important things of being a quarterback is elevating the guys around you. You see guys that they just plug and play every year, and he does such a great job of understanding that he has to lead those guys and do his job at the highest level.
Was it cool when you saw that NFL 100 commercial that you guys are right next to each other?
It's pretty cool. That'll be something I'm very proud I did looking back on it.
Aaron Rodgers.
Physically one of the most gifted guys. To me, a huge fan of his game and what he's capable of doing. People critique him a lot, but you watch him, if you watch tape, he does things that people shouldn't be able to do.
Drew Brees.
He's a doctor out there. I think what he's able to do, you give him, take the Monday night game a couple weeks ago, you give him 30+ seconds, that's too much time. No matter where you're at in the ball game, you always have a chance when he's on the field. Russell
Wilson.
Game changer. I'd say he's a guy that also extends plays. I think people have compared our games somewhat similar, but he's a leader. Not the biggest guy, but he plays big, and he plays very well in big moments.
A couple of the questions I had. Have you met LeBron at all?
I have not.
When he mentioned last year, as you guys were getting hot, that Baker could be the new face of Cleveland, what does it mean to hear that from a guy who, when you were in the middle of your Oklahoma run, was winning the championship here for this city, that one that they had so desperately waited for?
That couldn't quite wrap my mind around it then. Until I got to Cleveland and realized everything that he had done here and everything he meant to the city. The state of Ohio, I think it expands beyond that, but it's a pretty big deal.
We got to get him out to a game just so you can meet him here a little bit. There's almost a new era in football, it feels like, with the quarterbacks. Like, here's Goff coming in here this week. Mahomes is playing against Lamar Jackson this week. We have 3 guys making their debuts. Some of the older guys have gotten injured. It feels like there's a little bit of a change. Is there any kind of connection with all of you young quarterbacks about where this game is going and that it may be your time?
I think people say and make fun of, like, the college type of football that people spread it out, and what the Chiefs are doing essentially. They're spreading the ball out and taking shots and being very creative. I think that's the direction this game's headed, but I think that shows why some of these young QBs are able to have success. You draw up the plays to what they're good at, and you call them to that.
Do you think we're going to have like a 66-59 game like you and Mahomes?
I don't know if we'll have that. The defenses are pretty good.
Is it true that you're a good dancer?
Not right now, no.
Not in front of this camera, but
okay, yeah, I could dance.
You have good.
I got a little bit of
moves?
rhythm.
Really?
A little bit, yeah.
Could you really see yourself one day doing one of those dance shows on TV?
It'd be a lock. I'd definitely win whatever it was.
You would win?
Yeah. I bet on myself.
You that good?
Well, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I'm going to bet on myself.
All right, that's fine. So, like, if there was instruction of how to dance properly,
absolutely,
you think you could pull it off?
If I had some sort of coaching, I'm going to take it and run with it.
And do you have musical talent at all, or?
No.
No. But you have rhythm.
Tone deaf.
Okay.
Also, yeah, tried to teach myself piano once. That didn't work out.
And a wannabe drummer?
I want to be drummer. Just one solo.
In the air tonight?
Yeah,
all right.
It's simple enough.
You got it? That's it? There's not more energy in it?
No, it's not game day yet. It's not game day.
Oh, so that happens on game day?
There's a flip.
With the full
switch.
Load. Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
And that switch comes how soon before kickoff?
Probably about 3 hours before
3
kickoff.
hours. All right. We'll warn America.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Oh, God.
Give us the low pre-switch. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.